Hi, folks. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in gloomy Southern California. That guy out there is
Jim Johnston in freezing Northeast Ohio.
Yeah. What's the wind chill today, Jim?
7 today. It's 7. It's that 7. That's it.
7. Yeah, like 7 degrees, not minus
right.
7, just
right.
7. You know,
I've got negative numbers on the forecast coming up here, so it's
no,
it's going to be one of those.
Well, I hope that today Jim and I have something that'll warm your cockles, or not. I don't know. We were sent this little gem. That's right. It's Maestro Dobel Pavito, not to be confused with Umito, which is their other expression. If you know anything about this brand, folks, you know that Maestro Dobel was the first one, the very first brand to come out with what is now known as a Cristalino. Okay, when it first came on the market, I've told the story before. It was actually a well done product. They were still doing real tequila, stripping the color out of it with still much more añejo characteristic. It was a reposado. I think it was there was no category for it, and there still isn't. And it was considered a reposado cristalino. Okay, so they had to name it and position it somewhere, and they named it Dobel Diamante. Okay, because it is the brainchild of the son of Juan Domingo Beckman, who is the second in charge of the Cuervo dynasty. Okay, but of course, with the advance of the diffuser, the brand, the original Dobel Diamond Diamante isn't even a shade, a shadow of what it used to be. Okay. So they reached out to us and said, hey, we got this brand new diffuser made tequila. Of course, I'm not saying diffuser, but we want you to try it. And they sent us this beautiful, it comes in a blue glass bottle. Okay.
Very nice bottle, very nice label.
Yeah.
Artistry on that. I think big turkeys. 2 big turkeys,
which, and kind of like they kind of gave it the Aztec look to the turkeys, which,
yes,
as to my knowledge, there are no ruins that have turkey,
and why are there turkeys on the bottle, Mike?
Well, Pavito, pavo is a turkey. It's one of the names in Spanish for turkey is pavo real, a royal turkey. In some regions of Mexico, it's known as a guajolote. Okay, so you'll see both of those, but for Mexico City, it's pavita, because Mexico City, and probably in Guadalajara, it's known as a pavo, and I know the full term is pavo real, and for us in the U.S., it's turkey. Okay,
right.
So well, here's what I'm going to do. Let's just pour the juice. Let's just taste it. And then we'll tell you all the backstory and see if it makes any difference. Okay. So we just broke the seal on this.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm getting there. But we're going to pour it. I'm going to use my Stasso Jarrito for tequila. Now, my understanding, my superficial understanding, until I read the press release to you guys, and I haven't had a chance to really actually study it because, Pavito. But it's interesting to me to read these, to see what the PR companies that are been hired by Cuervo and the Beckley Corporation, because that's their, Beckley is their, that's how you can buy them on the US, on the stock exchange. It's interesting to me to see how they position something like this. My understanding is this is a riff off of a pechuga, a mezcal pechuga, which, as you probably may or may not know, when they distill it, they hang a piece of meat, which is usually a chicken breast, sometimes turkey, sometimes it's these are festive, for special occasions. They only do it like once a year, and then they hoard these editions that are made, with spices and fruit of the season, and they drink.
Right. Hence the kind of harvest time motif on this label. But he does say at the bottom, the first Pechuga tequila.
Right.
Because typically it's a mezcal that gets done in this style.
And I know that Ocho has done a curado tequila, which in Spanish it means it's infused, and they actually infuse it with in those bottles they actually have a piece of baked or cooked agave in it to enhance the flavor. So it's called a curado. Okay. And they do that also with other agave spirits. I've had sotols that have been curado with berries and cinnamon and things like that. So it's like an infusion. Okay.
Right.
This is crystal clear, as you guys can see. Not a whole lot of bubbles that maintain themselves in the glass, or even on my glass, or in the bottle for that matter. I don't know if you guys can see the legs and tears on this thing. They're kind of thin.
It's my understanding though from the Pechuga style mezcal is that when you hang that piece of chicken or turkey breast, the collagen in the meat as that vapor from the distillate cooks it, that collagen drips down into the liquid and gives it a little bit more body, because this has kind of got a real syrupiness to it.
Okay, you say syrupy. I'm getting thin legs and tears, but that's okay. If you're getting syrup, I will.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't move around the glass the same way. I think that collagen gives it a little bit of heft in the liquid,
which is good, because diffuser made tequilas are rather thin.
Right.
They lend themselves, and I've said this on before with everybody. I think with all of our tasters, all of our TJs. Diffuser made tequilas lend themselves to infusion, additives, because it's basically vodka. I mean, there's no character.
Right.
In it. I mean, Cazadores has to add agave flavoring so it tastes like agave. Okay. To me, that's, and I tell folks this, you should keep a library of diffuser made tequilas so you have a reference point. And one of the best, but worst diffuser tequilas I've ever tasted is the Cazadores. And I said this when we did the review. Their Blanco is the agave flavor is so over the top that you just know. It's like they're phoning it in. They don't even care anymore. All right. They're just putting it on the market, hoping people will buy it. And people are buying it because, it's cheap for margaritas. It's 100% agave tequila, folks. But it ain't real. Okay. So okay, so what are we getting on the nose? Here we go. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. There's this underlying, for me, smells like an underlying citrus, and it's mixed with something else.
This is like a cooked orange.
Yeah.
Smell.
Yeah.
Like if you made if you make a sauce with orange juice and you cook it, you boil it, or you boil down some oranges like to make a jam out of it. There's a little mint on this too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to be fair, I haven't had their humito, which is their smoked infused Dobel. Okay. Deeper in, you say it's cooked. You're right. I get it cooked, but it doesn't smell like a cooked chicken breast. It's like you say, it's like a cooked fruit.
Yeah, I mean, but it does, it has a baked quality to it of some sort of like, you smell an apple and then you smell an apple pie and you know there's been a difference. The apple has the same aroma, but it's been given a little bit of
Well, the
richness to it. And
right, the baking brings the sugars to the forefront of the natural sugars in the apple to the forefront. And so the flavor profiles tend to be deeper in an apple pie and a baked apple or a cobbler or whatever it is, however you whatever you guys want to relate it to. But I'm
it's got, and usually for me, when it's got a mint nose, the mint turns to anise after a
Yeah.
little while,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's got that same kind of herb oil kind of quality that gives you a little sting when you breathe it in real deep. But this also has kind of a, I'm going to tell you what this, I'm going to throw this out there, but
Let's go. Hit me.
when you have a piece of pineapple on a cooked ham and you just take the pineapple off, you still have a little bit of that element of the savory salt and sweet that comes off the ham, but the fruit is what you smell. And it's a baked fruit with just some savoriness on it.
Yeah. So it's like the fruit touched the ham, touched the turkey, but
Right.
it's not really turkey.
Yeah, you're still eating the pineapple, but it's got
I
a
love
little,
it.
it's got a little
That's it.
ham essence on it.
That's it. It's like that. The pineapple has residue of ham,
Right.
Right. Okay. And Jim knows because Jim is a big barbecue guy.
Oh yeah.
He's a big meat man, Okay.
Oh yes. Yes.
You can
yes.
catch him on his Instagram and you can see the pictures of beautiful pictures on his grill. Just this guy's a gourmet. Okay.
And well, thank you. I appreciate that. And very soon there will be a new surface for that to happen, but plenty of pictures of agave and cocktails containing agave next to very large pieces of meat.
Oh, you know what? Bring it on. We want to, let's have a barbecue issue of Tequila Aficionado magazine.
I think so.
We're working on a cigar issue, folks. There's a cocktail issue coming up in February, which by the time you all see this, it'll be April. So you will be able to acquire that. You'll be able to, if you're subscribed, you can get that. Barbecue issue, I'm for it because right now I don't even want to swallow this. I don't know what.
Let's see.
You're right. There's an anise, something in there that's anisey. There's something in there that's fruity. There's a depth in it that it's exactly what he said. It's residue of chicken or I guess turkey in this case.
Turkey. But it doesn't smell like Thanksgiving. It doesn't smell like I'm cooking a turkey.
Yeah,
it just smells, it's got a little savory, maybe a little brine kind of just savoriness to it.
The funny thing is when they sent this to us, it was October. And for our brands of promise, our cutoff is last year in 2021, our cutoff was August, where we had 84 different agave spirits in our brand of promise ballot. Yeah. Go check it out, folks. That was crazy. We all had to do
that was a long night of grading.
That was grading, and we had to retaste it. And for me, I'm the anchor, so I had to retaste everything, and I'm not doing that this year. I'm tasting.
Yeah, you get all of us, and I only had to do mine again and go back through, but you got all of us.
I got all of you. And my tastings are done right after we do this. Shall we dive in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. God help us. Okay, I'm taking one for the team. You know that anise you were talking about?
Yeah.
It turned into a full-blown black licorice.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Sambuca.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, I didn't even put that. You know what? If we put a coffee bean in here,
yeah,
can we just call it a Sambuca?
And honestly, it's.
Or you know what?
I have an aftertaste where I'm getting just a little note of that turkeyness. you're not going to make a club sandwich out of this thing, and you're not going to have a full turkey in your mouth, but there's a little bit of an aftertaste on the back of my palate that just has kind of just a hint of, like, if you smell a broth or something like that, just that scent taste hitting your palate just a little, and just it's not a powerful meat flavor of any kind, but it's got a meat essence to it. I mean, it's,
oh my God. That was my first passing out, and transparency here. It's early for me. Okay. We started talking about 11 o'clock in the morning. It's already like 2 or 3 at Jim in Ohio. So Jim's been awake for a while, but I just brushed my teeth. So I have not ingested anything, not coffee, just water. And this thing is like a licorice. I can't even call it anise. It's licorice, and it's a licorice explosion on the first pass. Okay, I'm gonna give it another pass here.
okay. And I'm curious about that, because I know that, this is not just they make a Pechuga mezcal, but whatever they're making, they don't just hang the turkey breast above it. They macerate some fruit and some spices in with it as well. Is he gonna make it?
Oh my God, this being the first thing I've had ingested all morning besides water. I will say that it reminds me very much of some of the baccanoras that I've had, the infused baccanoras that are for festive occasions. I have a couple that I'm hoarding because there's no telling when I'll ever have those again. And one of them is infused with a type of berry. I forget what the name of the berry is. And the other one is infused with the fruits and spices of the season, and they're festive. They only come out once a year. They're beautifully done. I got to say that they're easy to sip on, full, rich flavor, but this doesn't have that. It's more reminiscent to me of the baccanoras that I have hoarded. Now the finish is long, and it is
a long finish. This is misleading in the flavor that they tell you. If you read this bottle and know what a Pechuga style mezcal is, and now a Pechuga style tequila, you would think it's got a meatiness to it, or a richness that is infused by that meat and the fat. This is very heavy anise and licorice. I mean, and I don't know what other fruit could be included or spice in that. I mean, maybe there is anise in the macerated stuff that they put in there. I mean, anise and fruit go along, but it's got a sweetness almost like plums.
Yeah.
It ends with that heavy anise licorice flavor of a sambuca.
Well, it reminds me of, there are some people that growing up, we would spend Thanksgiving with some family friends, and everybody has a different kind of turkey stuffing. And for Hispanics or Latinos, some people, some of the old style stuffings would include prunes or raisins. So it's got kind of that kind of a quality. Okay, let me read some of this to you. I have a couple of press releases, folks. I'll just read you what it says word for word. This is an extra añejo cristalino. Okay, so and then they go into the 2 centuries of Juan Dobel oversees the production of Maestro Dobel. It's a Juan Domingo. That's why they named him Juan Dobel. That's his nickname. It's Juan Domingo Beckman, and Dobel is kind of his moniker. Okay,
right.
It was created to commemorate my 50th birthday. He's 50 years old. Wow, I didn't know that. It is the ultimate expression of Dobel's commitment to both tradition and innovation. Founder of Maestro Dobel Tequila, it was his idea. He's the first one to put it out there, and they laughed at him. And now everybody wants it. Not everybody wants a Cristalino. As we see tequila innovation within the U. Okay, they quote him. I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, here we go. Handcrafted in the lowlands of Jalisco, using 100% Blue Weber agave, expertly grown and sourced from a single family-owned estate. Maestro Dobel 50 is twice distilled in copper pot stills, achieving a smoothness. Am I reading the right thing here?
I don't think so.
I okay, I may be reading the wrong press release. But yeah, I'm reading the wrong press release. They sent us so much junk, folks. Let me
I've got on there on the website, it begins with the base of Maestro Dobel's silver tequila, double distilled in copper pot stills, achieving the smoothness that Dobel tequilas are known for. After a brief period macerating the fruits and spices, a third distillation is performed, which is a first for them, during which the pachuga is placed at the top of the still. The tequila vapors are thus infused with the aromatics of the fruit, spices, and savory turkey breast. It intensifies the tequila, creating layers of complexity in the resulting liquid. I would say that's incorrect because this is straight up anise. And they give that in the tasting note, but it's the fourth thing. It should be the first thing.
Yeah, this is a first for. Are you reading the same thing? The first for the Maestro Dobel portfolio, during which the pachuga is placed at the top of the still. Right, it's the same thing. Creating it's aromatics of the fruits, spices, and savory turkey breast.
Right.
So apparently,
floral, citric, fresh notes of mint, peppermint, chlorophyll, lemon tea, and anise. And they've mentioned several times in it Mexican hawthorn, tejocote. Am I saying that correctly?
I got Mexican, yeah, tejocote, yeah. And very subtle smoky notes. I'm sorry, folks, I'm not getting any of this, and they're calling it lemon tea and anise. It's just licorice.
It's a sweet black licorice flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading the wrong press release. Excuse me. I was reading a press release of stuff that they haven't sent us yet, which is okay. I think on the nose, we sensed something going on there. Like you said, there's an underlying heaviness that reminiscent of, like he said, a cooked or baked fruit that had touched, it had been near, it had it was in the general area of the meat.
But the cooked meat gives it a hint of that savory that almost has a quality of a little bit of a briny quality, but also a richness that I think gives the fruit flavor a little bit more sweetness. But that sweetness is just goes straight into I bet you could pour this to a Sambuca drinker and they would maybe not question it.
It's like a cheap ouzo.
Yeah, it's got an ouzo quality. It's got an anise or have you ever had Schlivovitz, the plum?
I can't even say it.
Schlivovitz, it's Slovenian or it's from that area around Slovenia.
You know what? If this were a dark color, if they didn't strip any color out of it and it was just really dark, this would be Jägermeister.
So Schlivovitz is a plum. It's a plum liquor. It's rocket fuel, but I've been with some Slovenian folks and some people in the Tamburitzins and got absolutely ripped on Schlivovitz because you taste it and you're like, oh, this is like a plum liquor. It's like, you're doing shots of peach schnapps and then you're in the middle of the street at 4 a.m. and you're like, what happened to me? Like, how did but it's got that little bit of fruit sweetness intensity. So if you had one of those and then had a Sambuca right next to it and went bam, bam, that's where we are.
Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. Pavito. They actually sent this to us in October, hoping that they would get some kind of reveal or a review for Thanksgiving, because that's, they brought this out as a I guess for a seasonal kind of thing, right? And that's generally what these pachugas are. They're seasonal. They're festive for special occasions. Right. It's not, they don't do it all the time. I would suspect that they don't do this all the time either, because it's.
I got no agave in this at all.
Yeah, me neither. I got a nice long finish. I got a ton, a a metric ton of licorice, not even anise. It just went over the top. On the nose, we did get some of that cooked fruit. I mean,
Right.
on the cork, it was really weird too. It was like orange, but not really
Yeah.
orange. You know,
Yeah.
I've never overcooked an orange ever, because you just don't do that. You bake apples and plums and
You don't often bake oranges, but almost like if you're making a marmalade and you cook it down, that smell, or if you put orange juice in a sauce, like if you've got a mojo with orange juice in it, when that mojo starts to cook, the orange, on the nose, the cooking orange juice has a different flavor than an orange or a cold glass of orange juice. That's what it was like. And I actually thought maybe that was good. That was the savoriness of the meat giving that cooked flavor. And I thought, well, there's going to be some floral fruit, some baked fruit, some baking spices, a little bit of anise, a little bit of agave, just anise.
Yeah.
Just anise.
Just anus. and
Well,
and the
there you
funny,
go.
yeah, and the funny thing is, I have, like I said, I have bacanoras that are festive, that are, they're only seasonal, and I'm hoarding those because there's no telling when I'm going to get any more of those, and because they're pechugas, because they're infused, because of the method that they're using. If there was a little bit of savoriness, it would tone down the anise. It would actually be anise, but this is lit up. If there was a real savoriness with real meat, you would get a blend, a nice harmony of the spices with the meat. That's not the case here. In my experience, this is just lit up like you're right, like a sambuca or like an ouzo, and even
I thought there were going to be a few more layers in it, and I think that if the anise was toned down a little bit and that savoriness came through with that baked sweetness, that would be I think it would have been appealing, because like you do plenty of savory chicken dishes with prunes and olives. You get a little brine, a little sweetness, a little richness from the fat of the meat, and then
capers.
That is
they had some of the stuffings that we had were not only with I said prunes, but also capers.
Yes.
So you
I just feel like if that was on there, if you had a little bit of that, maybe a little salinity, maybe a little sweetness from the baked fruit, maybe a little bit more of the spices that were macerated coming through, and that complexity would have made this a little bit more appealing. But it's so licorice. I don't taste agave.
I don't either. I don't even taste turkey, for that matter. I can smell something there. You'll be able to smell it in the nose, but taste it, nah. And the more it opens up, and there is some and there was an orange, there was a citrus kind of thing. So the citrus is another aroma that you're going to be able to pull out of this.
Yes.
Well, that's our take. I mean, what else? What would you do with this? I mean, besides give it away to somebody who doesn't give a shit. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's just
PG, okay?
It's just not a cocktail thing. I can tell you though. I mean, it's not.
Do we have any Greek friends we want to give this to?
I have Greek family members, and I'm gonna do a blind taste of this.
Wait. I thought you had family members in Ireland.
They're American cousins who are of Greek ancestry way back in the day. So like they're Greek in the way that everybody in America.
Wait. Do you have Greeks in Ireland? Because you got two different islands, man.
No. My mom's side has the Greeks. My father's side's all Irish. But I'm going to do a blind taste with the Greek cousins and see if they can with ouzo, and see if they say this, or no, I'm not going to do it with ouzo. I'm just going to pour them this and say, what do you think that is? And if the first thing they say is ouzo or sambuca, I will be like, okay, then this is verified. But it's too much anise for anything. But and honestly, I just,
can we bake with it at least?
I'm sure there's a little cocktail called an anisette, which is just the anise liqueur and I believe some club soda in it. It's just a little kind of, and people have coffee sambuca
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could probably put this in a good Mexican bean coffee and get that coffee sambuca kind of style out of it.
Right.
But you whatever you're putting this in it, you've got to understand there's going to be an anise component to it.
Yeah. You know, the reason I ask you is because I know that years ago when I was still in Texas, Ornito sent us their lime shot expression.
Right.
And you know, because we did the same. You can see that review also, folks. And the funny thing is, it wasn't a shooter. You know, it wasn't even a sipper, but it was a great ingredient for ceviche. It was great for like for barbecue chicken. It was great to put in a
citrus.
bag. Yeah, it was a great thing. It was awesome. They were missing the boat. They should have marketed this as, you know, some tequilas will market and some whiskeys and rums will market a barbecue sauce.
Right.
That's where they could have made a killing. Lime shot for your ceviche or for your marinade for barbecuing for the summer. They could have brought it out once every summer. I would have bought it. I would have bought it.
Or you could have done like they do with vodka, do an oyster, little cocktail sauce. You know, get that citrus and that booziness right behind that too.
Yeah, but, it would have. It was actually, for a shooter it was lousy, but for everything else it was really well done. It would have been. You would have loved it. You would have loved lime shot. I don't even know if you could find it anymore. But
I don't know, and I will ask. I actually know somebody from Beam Suntory who reps Hornitos, and I'm going to find out.
Because I put it, I'm telling you, you're the barbecue guy. And I know a couple other ones, one in South Texas. Use it as, you know, for your marinades. It's exquisite for marinades. I'm telling you, you're going to love it if it's still available. But this thing, I'm trying to find a saving grace.
I'm just saying, I can't find a cocktail application. Diffuser tequila's got cocktail applications all the time. If you're dumping a bunch of sugar and citrus in it or something like that, where it gets the vodka quality of taking on the mixed stuff. This has a flavor profile that I just don't think goes into any other cocktail that isn't a sambuca or a licorice style cocktail. Yeah,
or just dump it in your coffee if you don't give a damn. You know,
a coffee sambuca, which could be a coffee pavito, but I don't think.
We're not a fan.
No.
Yeah. Thank you, Jose Cuervo. Thank you, the Beckman family. Thank you, the PR company that sent this to us. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to go name those folks because they were very nice enough to send this to us. You know, we didn't solicit them. They came to us, and they're
doing their jobs as we are.
They're doing their jobs. I believe the contact was Articulate Productions. What the folks that sent this to us, wait, am I looking at the right one? Hang on a second. Let me make sure that I'm reading the right press release because I was reading the wrong press release. Oh my God. Let me see. Where's this? Yep, that's the one. So it's Articulate Productions. It was the PR company that is handling this particular expression. We appreciate you guys thinking of us. Thank you, because you gave us a chance to see what else is out there, what's on the market, you know, what y'all have to watch out for. But I got nothing else to say. I can't even find I can't even find the words at this point.
Well, and I'm looking at their Instagram.
I can't do it. I can't. There's
looking at their Instagram, the Articulate reps some very fine products. They rep an Irish whiskey, Sexton. That's an excellent Irish whiskey. This is just not one of them.
No. But anyway, folks, thanks for sticking up. I know we've been at it for a while, but it requires this kind of breaking down because somewhere, somehow there's a market for this and it isn't here. So, but I appreciate you guys watching. First of all, that's our take on Pavito. Let me show it to you so you can either buy it or avoid it. I'm not sure. It's Pavito. That's our take on Maestro Dobel. It does come in a very nice box.
It does. Yes.
You have to break the these boxes tend to break anyway, but you have to break it to make sure you get it out of the box. If you get a box, that's great. But hey, that's it. I got nothing else for you folks. Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Jim Johnston in Youngstown, Ohio.
And you have been watching and listening to us ruminate about Maestro Dobel on sipping off the cuff on all of our channels and networks. Please follow us on Instagram if you're following us on the TA Instagram, or me personally on Tim Burrell. Jim has his own Instagram, beautiful Instagram with all kinds of nice barbecue, all kinds of meat.
a lot of food, a lot of drink, a lot of meat. Yes, that's meat. True.
And sometimes if you're lucky, you'll get a video of him and his band. Because he is in a band as well.
Every once in a while.
And if you follow us on all of our channels and networks, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, because it does help us with the algorithm. And whatever you do, please tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.